Yes.
Okay. So here is the last lecture. In this lecture, we discussed mainly the transport of gases. Now, things which are very important for you are the objectives of this lecture. Okay. So in this lecture, we discussed oxygen transport and carbon dioxide transport. So remember the methods of oxygen transport and carbon dioxide transport. Very important for you to remember. Okay. Then there are certain other things related with each transport. Let us go ahead and see. What are the major methods of oxygen transport?
Bound to hemoglobin or diffused in plasma.
Very good. Only two major methods, bound to hemoglobin or diffused or dissolved in plasma. These are the two major methods of oxygen transport. Okay. You know the pressure now, isn't it? We have already discussed this in our earlier lecture, this pressure. So you should know that. Okay, let us go ahead. Okay, very important question. How much is dissolved oxygen transport?
1 to 3% of
Okay,
total
1
oxygen
to
transport.
3%. In some book it is 1 to 2, or in some books it is 2 to 3. So we say 1 to 3%. Okay. What is the importance of dissolved oxygen? Very, very,
Partial
very
pressure.
important.
Partial pressure.
Yes, partial pressure of oxygen is this PO2 is due to dissolved oxygen. I'll tell you one sentence. Please tell me if it is correct or wrong. Okay. Partial pressure of oxygen is because of oxygen bound to hemoglobin.
Wrong.
Wrong,
Anybody
doctor.
else? Abdul Karim, Mu, Al Hassan.
Yes, doctor.
Please
Wrong,
tell
doctor.
me what is
Wrong.
my answer question and what is the answer?
Wrong,
Wrong.
Partial
doctor.
pressure of oxygen is because of oxygen bound to hemoglobin.
No.
Right.
Wrong.
Next question is partial pressure of oxygen is due to oxygen dissolved in plasma.
Yes,
Correct.
correct.
Yes, doctor.
Right. All of you got the answer now?
Yes,
Yes.
doctor.
Okay. We have repeated this 3 times. Please remember this. Okay. Let us go ahead. What is HB saturation?
Measurement in which hemoglobin combined with the oxygen.
Okay. Now there is nothing else we can explain about it. Just simply remember the words which are there for this definition. Okay. So the
Okay.
words are HB saturation is a measure of the extent to which hemoglobin is combined with oxygen. So it tells you how much oxygen is bound to hemoglobin. Okay. How much is the normal?
97 to 98.
97, 98%, 100% takriban. Okay. Anything above 95% is normal. Okay. What is this curve called as?
Dissociation.
Okay,
Sigmoid.
oxygen, hemoglobin, dissociation curve. This is the name. Okay, it tells you the different pressure of oxygen and how much is the hemoglobin saturation. Okay, so these are the two things it is telling you. And we have discussed why there is flat and why there is steep phase. We already discussed that in our lecture. Okay.
Doctor,
Yes, please.
sorry, can you explain again about the plateau phase and steep phase, what we should memorize in it?
Yes, if there is anything to memorize, I will repeat. Okay.
So I didn't actually understand
Okay, no
the.
problem. No problem. Let me explain you. Let me explain you, but don't worry about this explanation. Okay.
Okay.
It is difficult to ask in exam, but let me explain you. You see, our curve has got this two part, this plateau part and this steep part. Okay.
Okay.
So what happens is the arterial pressure is 100. Oxygen pressure. Now this is all about oxygen. So arterial is 100 and venous is 40. So the pressure to vein becomes from 40 to from 100 to 40, then only this curve oxygen saturation decreases. It comes here, which is takriban 75. Okay. So the oxygen saturation to become 75, from 100 to 75, the pressure has to come down from 100 to 40. Saturation becoming 100 to 75 will require pressure to come down from 100 to 40. This occurs in normal people. Okay, right? So this is in steep phase. Now, how much is given from 100 to 75? And how much is lost to the tissues? 25. 100 has become 75 in hemoglobin,
Okay.
right? So the remaining is gone to the tissue. Now the blood has come back to vein, isn't it? In artery, it was 100, saturation was 100. In veins, the pressure is 40 and saturation is 75. Where is this 75 gone? It is given to tissues. Okay. So the meaning of this plateau curve is to give 25% of the oxygen. The pressure has to come down from 100 to 40 slowly. Plateau phase. Okay. Occurs in normal people. In 25%, he requires 50%. So instead of saturation remaining to a 75, it remains 50. How much has the pressure to come down? From 40 to only 30 of steep phase. Our the pressure change was very big. Now little change in pressure, lot of oxygen is given. The pressure comes down to 55. Lot of oxygen is given by little change in pressure. So this is the importance of steep phase. Okay. Now whether you understand this or not, it doesn't matter. You have to remember certain things about this chart. Okay. So what are the things which you have to remember?
Shift to the right.
First of all, what is shifting to right? Can somebody tell me what is the meaning?
The affinity of
Oxygen.
the
I
affinity of
told you in different words what is the meaning of curve shifting to right.
yeah, it's
Less
the affinity
pressure
of
decrease.
hemoglobin to bind the oxygen. It will decrease, so it's easy to tissue extract oxygen.
Okay, very good, very good. So let me repeat this for everybody. So the meaning of curve shifting to right, yani, it is easier for the oxygen to go to tissues. Okay, easier for the oxygen from blood or from hemoglobin to go to tissues. Second meaning is it is easier for tissues to take oxygen or extract oxygen. Okay. Another way to say that is it is easier for hemoglobin to release oxygen, give away oxygen, or unload oxygen. Can you remember this word? Unload oxygen.
Yes, doctor.
Please remember these words. Different way I have told you, same thing. Easier for tissues to extract oxygen, easier for tissues to take oxygen, easier for hemoglobin to give oxygen, easier for hemoglobin to unload oxygen. All these are having same meaning and they occur when the hemoglobin oxygen dissociation curve shifts to right. Okay. This was very important. Therefore, we revised it many times. Can you remember this?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. What is the meaning of curve shifting to right? Okay. Please remember this. Yes, please.
Is there any difference between diphosphoglycerate and biphosphoglycerate?
No difference. Di and bi same.
Oh.
Some books write BPG and some books write DPG. Okay.
Yeah.
Same Shay. Okay. Now about this shifting of the curve, the second thing which you have to remember is condition in which it will shift to right. Can somebody tell me?
When the CO2
effect?
increase.
Bohr's effect.
Increase.
Okay. Okay. Very increase. Increase carbon dioxide, increase H ion, increase temperature. They have other meaning also. Increased carbon dioxide occurs in Bohr effect. Increase HIN, also called as decrease pH. Okay, decrease pH also called as acidity. Okay. Then we have increased 2,3-diphosphoglycerate. This occurs in anaerobic glycolysis. So these are the 4 important conditions in which the curve shifts to right. So please remember them. Okay. Increase CO2, increase HI. To write 2 at least for your exam. You may be asked to write 2 conditions which shift the curve to right. Okay. Easy?
Yes.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay. Let us go ahead. I have already told you everything about Bohr effect and Haldane effect. You remember that in our lecture?
Yes.
Yes.
I wrote something on the board about Bohr effect and Haldane effect.
Yes, you wrote
Did you take
increase
picture?
CO2
Yes.
to decrease
So
hemoglobin.
whatever CO2
course.
is doing to oxygen binding to hemoglobin is called as Bohr effect. And whatever plasma oxygen is doing, O2 is doing to CO2 binding to hemoglobin is Haldane effect. Okay.
Okay.
If you remember that board, if you have taken, please use that. That is more important. So remember Bohr effect and Haldane effect. Now we come to the next slide. Factors which shift the curve to left. So where it will occur? Decrease, 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 decrease. Can you remember this? At least 2 you have to remember. Easy?
Yes.
So remember these conditions. Okay, let us go ahead. How much is the total oxygen carrying capacity of blood?
20.
20 per 100.
So this is where occurs. When you talk about total oxygen carrying capacity, this is the oxygen content. It is dissolved plus bound to hemoglobin. Together is takriban 20. It is 20.3, but we say 20. Okay. So the total oxygen carrying capacity of blood is 20 milli per 100 ml of blood. Okay. Down here. What happened? Total O2 carrying capacity of blood is 20 ml per 100 ml of blood. Can you remember this?
Yes, sir.
Total O2 carrying capacity of blood is 20 ml per 100 ml of blood. Please remember this sentence. Can you remember this?
Yes.
Total O2 carrying capacity of blood is 20 ml of oxygen per 100 ml of blood. Okay, please remember this. Now we come to next question. Under normal condition, how much of oxygen is delivered to the tissue by each 100 ml of blood?
Percentage.
Please remember that. Out of 20, only 5 is given and 75 is remaining in the blood, in venous blood. Okay. Can you remember this? This sentence is very, very, very important. Can you remember this? Under normal condition, 5 ml of oxygen is given to the tissue by 100 ml of blood. Yes, please. Are you clear? All
Yes,
of you?
Yes.
Okay. So let us go ahead. Okay. Now we come to carbon dioxide. This was the chart I was searching for in our last lecture. This is very important. Please remember this chart. Okay. So what is the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in alveoli?
40.
40. What is the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in arterial blood?
40.
40. What is the partial pressure of oxygen, carbon dioxide in venous blood?
40.
45 or 46. 45, easy to remember instead of 46. Okay. If you write 46, you are not wrong. But it is 45. You cannot write 40. Okay. Any difficulty till this part? Clear?
No,
No difficult. Yes, very.
Okay. Now we come to the next part. What are the methods of transport? The three methods of the carbon dioxide transport are dissolved form, in bicarbonate form, and bound to hemoglobin and other plasma proteins, carba-amino form. Okay. So these are the three methods. Their percentage you have to remember. Dissolved is 10%, carba-amino compound is 20 to 30%, and bicarbonate form is 60 to 70%. Can you remember this?
Yes, doctor.
Yes.
Which is the major method of CO2 transport?
Bicarbonate.
Bicarbonate form. Now I'll more questions about this. Chloride shift occurs in which form of CO2 transport?
And bicarbonate.
Very good. Anybody who has doubt about this answer? I'll ask the question again. Chloride shift occurs in which type of CO2 transport? Is it dissolved, bicarbonate, or carbo-amino compound?
Bicarbonate.
Bicarbonate. This is the answer. Here chloride shift occurs. My next question is reverse chloride shift occurs in, does it
Lungs?
occur
Lung.
has bicarbonate transport, but does it occur in tissues or lungs?
Lungs.
Lung.
Lungs. Can you remember this?
Yes.
Whether you understand or not, just simply remember reverse chloride shift occurs in lung. Okay. Reverse direction occurs in lung and it is called as reverse chloride shift. This sentence is very important. Okay. Can you remember? All of
Yes,
you?
doctor.
Very good.
Yes.
Please remember this. Let us go ahead. What is Haldane effect?
Whatever oxygen do to affinity between hemoglobin and CO2.
Who said this? Very good.
Me, Haytham. صغير.
Yes, Haizam. Alhamdulillah. So the answer is whatever oxygen is doing to the carbon dioxide binding to hemoglobin is called as Haldane effect. Can Arabic please?
طيب أي تأثير الأكسجين يسببه بين العلاقة أو بين الترابط بين الهيموغلوبين وثاني أكسيد الكربون يكون هذا هالدن إفكت.
Okay. Thank you. I don't know what you said, but hopefully you are right. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So now all of you got the difference between Bohr effect and Haldane effect?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. Please remember that. Okay. This is something which I cannot explain you on Zoom. We have already discussed that in our class. Okay. So please remember that. Forget about this chart and everything. So this is all about the carbon dioxide transport. And this is a summary of oxygen and carbon dioxide transport. This is all you have to focus. Whatever we have discussed, focus on that only. Inshallah, your physiology exam will be easy. Okay.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Thank you very much. If you have any question, you can ask. Okay.
Thank you, doctor, for your time.
Thank you. Shall we finish? Close?